Help Action Needed, a D&D podcast.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Help Action Needed, a D&D podcast. My name is Sean Hardy, and I am here with our clearly chaotic crew after the events of last episode. Well, I suppose crew is an overstatement, because it really was all Frog's fault. But let's meet the people that are chaotic before we kind of do a recap of what happened. Kate.
Hi, I'm Kate Pizarchik-Johnson, and I play Nori.
I'm Dan Johnson, and I play Cass.
I'm Julie Perez, and I play Frog.
Nice. So, hey Frog, how about you tell us what happened last time? Let's hear it in your own words.
Well, Seth and Alto came back, and we got to chat with them for a little while. Nori got her information for the wedding from Julian and Dion, and Frog tried to let Archimedes be successful and have a good time, and then she just royally fucked it up. And then she saw Mrs. Katonic, and now we have a meeting with her, so we're gonna hope that everything goes great.
Yep, hope that everything goes great indeed. So yeah, it is the next morning after the events of the day. You were able to debrief and unwind with your companions here, but you didn't have more time with the princes, and also Seth and Alto were given a room in the manor, the chateau, so they're able to join you for breakfast as well. So yeah, it's kind of like the seven of you all gathered around a breakfast table in just like a breakfast hall, and Tian will look around and be like, you all seem strangely prepared for a morning. Is there something you are planning to do today?
Yeah, I went over to see Mrs. Katonic yesterday, just kind of chat with her for a little bit, and she was hoping that we could all come talk with her about all the weird magic stuff that's been going on and what we know about Gemini so far.
Oh, like all of us, meaning all of us, and like, yeah, Elto, and my brother, are we all? We're kind of here. Are we all of us?
That's a good question. Well, for sure, Dion and Julian, I think you guys should come, because this information is important for you guys too, and I do think it's important for Seth and Alto too, but I think that if you, maybe your choice if you want to be part of this conversation or not. And also, Dion, you can make the final call here.
Can you kind of get us up to speed on like what you talked with her about, so that we know if we need to be there?
So, yeah, she just has some ideas and input to give us on making our decision on what we're going to do regarding Gemini. And ultimately, I think, Dion, you're gonna be a big part of that conversation.
Yeah, I'm happy to be a part of it. And then Julian go, and like, why did you stop by? Last time you were there, you got like pretty fucked up, and you wanted to go back for no reason?
Yeah, well, the first time I went, I brought the kids some toys, so I wanted to see what they needed so I can bring them some more toys this time.
Deception check.
That is truthful, though. I did.
Yeah, but then when you said, and this time I wanted to go back if they needed more toys, what's truthful about that?
I didn't. I'm gonna bring them toys today. I am. Okay, you said deception check?
Yep. And Cass and Nori, if you want to help any bit, especially Nori, you know that Frog is lying. If you want to be able to help, you can. In any way.
Can I casually cast guidance on myself?
No.
Will he notice? Okay.
Yes. You are sitting around a table with everyone here, and you do not have subtle spell abilities. If you cast guidance, everyone's gonna know.
I will walk over to Frog and put my hand on her shoulder and say, Frog is just so kind and caring, and she really just wanted to try and help some of these little kiddos out, especially for the journey that Miss Katonic sent us three on. But sometimes you enjoy the journey. It's all about the ride.
You said
right?
You said insight if I want to help, Sean.
No, like, the rest of them are going to incite this deception. You can do whatever you want to help. But if it's overtly magic, everyone's going to know.
That was my trying to help.
Oh
I
no,
figured.
I'm trying to help the princes. I'm not like I as a character, I would know for sure if Frog is like, yeah, no. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit
If you're
there just staring daggers at Frog, being like, I don't like this.
If you want to give your help action to one of the princes, you're welcome to.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna give my help action to Dion.
Okay, cool.
Stupid.
Frog rolled deception at advantage.
Okay. Oh, yay. At advantage. That's helpful. Okay, love that for me. Okay, that gives me a 19. I
Okay.
know how to do math.
Okay.
Thank you.
The only one, and as your advantage did help a lot there, brought it from a 7 to a 21. The other ones all got under a 10, and are like, they've got no reason to doubt Frog, but Dion knows Miss Katonic well. Dion also knows you all well, and bringing a bag of toys is not out of the ordinary. But Nori would have talked about all of you doing random weird shit. Nori would have blabbed about it, and you haven't had a bag of toys on you, and you were like, I'm gonna go over here now, when you came back. He doesn't say anything, but he looks at you, and you can see like him moving his ring that he uses to message Julian with, and is just sending him something telepathically about how he feels you're presenting this information, and if it's informing their trip with you or not. And then Alta will speak up. What was the last time you saw this Miss Katonic bad? You're talking about a trip you didn't enjoy. Did something happen?
Not necessarily, but we did get a lot of information about ourselves and our lives that we did volunteer to do, but it was a lot.
Are we gonna have to do that?
You don't have to. We volunteered.
Okay. And then you'll hear in your head, so why are you lying?
God damn it. I'll tell you about it later. It's a real long story. We need to like sit down and have a drink for me to tell you. But you have to promise that you won't tell Alto.
Okay, I mean that's fine. And then so after everyone, yes, Cass.
Can I tell if Dion is, because my goal was not to make Dion not come. It was just to point out that Frog is definitely not being 100% truthful. But is Dion like questioning coming at this point? Can I tell?
No, Dion's questioning Frog in a "what did you do" situation,
and sort of seeing Frog. And then really quick just clarification, Frog, did you say that this has anything? You said this has to do with Gemini. That's why she wants to discuss.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Then I would sort of, seeing the tension in the group that half of the people know Frog's lying. Actually, everyone knows Frog's lying, but no one wants to say anything.
I don't know
Alto
why
doesn't
anyone. I don't know why
sorry.
anyone would think that Frog is lying. Frog has never done anything wrong in her entire life.
I'll look at Dion in a more serious tone, like trying to get past the playfulness of what's been the last like 5 minutes or so, and just sort of reiterate that I think it would be important for at least you to be there. If Julian has other obligations, we understand, but this most likely will tie into the church, Gemini, Cassiopeia, the staff of Arcane Focus that I told you about earlier. Like, there's a lot of things this is going to tie into. So I think having your knowledge and perspective there would be beneficial, especially just keeping you updated, because I'll be the first to admit sometimes we're not the best at relaying messages, so you being there firsthand could be beneficial.
Yeah, why don't we all go? Seems like this could be tied to several things here, and there's no reason for anyone to feel like they need to not tell the entire part of a story when sharing information for those to join in. So if it's easier to keep things hidden to prevent someone from feeling either betrayed or pained or thrown to the side in any way, it would be nice to be there firsthand so that we don't need to get the... I don't want to say falsified, and that looks directly at you, Frog, report, but the cleaned up report. It might be nice.
Good.
Shall we go after... Did you have a time set, or...
Nope, we can just head out now. She's expecting us.
Well, hold on. You said you were going to bring a bag of toys, so we need to go buy toys really quick, Frog. Because while I appreciate the promptness to get onto this topic, I prefer not to get on Amy's bad side from my past with her and, parents' information that I received from her. It's like, it'd be cool to, let's not do that again. So, really quick, let's just run, grab some toys, and then we can go.
Good. Frog already had some in her bag that she had collected, so she's got like a couple of balls and like small ones. Don't be rude. It's fine. Anyway, and then we can go mix. Why?
And you all like to say that Nori is the most chaotic character. I don't want to hear it.
It was the fact that Julie was like, oh, here's a small, shallow grave. Now let's make it super deep with the line, small ones, but it was easy to move past until you kept trying to get out of it by further describing your bag of small balls.
I didn't even catch that. I just meant like baseballs instead of like a kickball,
I know what
so
you
it would
meant.
fit in my bag.
I've got a bag of balls, small ones, and I was like, Julie! Julie!
It's fine. Okay, this is the most chaotic recording.
Yeah, at this point, Cash just takes a deep breath in of his pipe, just lets out. Also, just FYI, this whole time when Cass is smoking at this point, he is trying to use some of his innate magic to make the smoke come out in cool patterns. It's not working. It's just a big blob of smoke every time, but he's trying real hard.
Nice. Then yeah, you all go to the market to acquire more than Frog's big bag of balls, and get a couple more toys that can be given to the children before heading over to Miss Katonic's, with both princes and both brothers in tow. And you get to the doors. Unlike yesterday, they're not opening for you as you arrive. You're going to have to knock, but you're able to get to her quite easily.
Well, this will be fun. Nori will kind of take the back of the pack.
Yeah, Frog will... Did we already knock? Sorry, I missed that. We didn't knock yet.
Not yet. You're all outside.
Okay, yeah. Frog will take the initiative to go up to the door and knock on it, and upon Miss Katonic answering it, she will immediately just be thinking over and over in her head, please don't tell the princess, please don't tell the princess, please don't tell the princess, to try to make sure that Amy hears that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, after a couple of moments, the door opens. Oh, hello, Frogena and friends. I am glad we're able to talk today after our meeting yesterday. Please come in.
Good. Frog will lead the way.
You hear in your head from Zeph, is she always this cold and weird? And like you all know, you haven't felt the like terrible cold coming off of her since you've been like embraced into the family. Um, and then you also hear in both yours and Steph's head, "Oh, by the way, I can hear you. It's okay if you talk." And you see Steph panic for a second as someone else is entering his head.
Good.
And Diane will go, "Oh, it's a pleasure as always to see you, Miss Katonic. Thank you once again for accepting us into your home. I know that you are a resident of the city, but I also know that the royal capital and the sovereign nation holds no sway over you. So thank you once again for helping the city and protecting those who need you. We kindly accept your invitation to enter." And he and Julian will walk in, with the brothers kind of trailing them, a little confused because clearly Steph is saying something to Alto about, voices in my head. So, what do you three do as you return inside for the first time in a long time?
Oh,
Frog,
go ahead, Frog.
Frog just trying to kind of get out of here and let everybody else do the talking because she doesn't want anyone to like insight check her again. She's gonna take like the bag of toys and stuff and go find some kids to give it to.
Easy enough.
Cass will just give Frog a side eye as she like hurriedly runs off out of like the entranceway, and it just goes up to Amy, be like, "Sounds like you had some interesting conversations yesterday." As always, and I'll hold out a pouch of 10 gold pieces to her just to fund the orphanage more.
Thank you for your donation. And yes, I was asked not to elaborate, but I'm sure you are aware of the private talk of donation that Frau Jenna had yesterday.
Yep. Sure, let's go with that. And I'll just smile and sort of walk a little bit past, waiting for her to talk to whoever else.
I will just be kind of hanging out in the background, not wanting to fuck up the situation more so than it seems that Frog has gotten us into a precarious situation, not knowing the full details, but having the foresight to understand something happened. And Nori will just hang out in the background, just sitting and relaxing. Wasn't there like a station that had like coffee and tea when we were here before?
It had teas, yeah. But it wasn't a station. It was like the unseen servants bring it out to you.
Oh. Nori, I'll think in my head, some tea would be really nice, but I don't want to disturb the conversation whenever you have a moment.
Yeah, and then you just see like little saucers start floating out. The brothers clearly not panicked, but like clearly unsettled by magical floating teacups and pots of tea coming out of the ether towards all of you. I assure you it's quite alright. There's nothing wrong here. Also, you all seem a bit, not standoffish seems the wrong word, but you all seem a bit short in desire to take the lead. What were you told about why I wanted to meet with all of you today?
Does Frog turn at this, or are you just enveloped in giving kids toys?
Yep.
I'm imagining like Frog ran down like one of the very long corridors and like is far enough out that Frog is not part of this conversation.
Gotcha.
I will pipe up and say, to be quite honest, we don't really know much aside from maybe the fact that you have some solutions for Gemini or something along the lines, but we're open to whatever conversation you would like to have, Miss Katonic, and I'll just continue sipping my cup of chamomile tea.
You're drinking chamomile tea in the morning?
Well, Nora needs to be chilled out for this conversation.
She's
so.
also had like 4
That's
cups
fair.
of coffee today, so...
Yeah, I'm just like, that's your plan is to take bedtime tea at 10:51 in the morning? But yeah, that's fair. Get your energy levels down a bit. Yeah, I didn't quite have a plan, but I had in exchange for a generous donation, agreed to aid Frogena in a instance of hers, and she had talked a bit about how the church has been growing in a way that indicates they're drawing power not from themselves and their belief in the peace of the nation, but once again trying to instill some sort of deification, which is it's not what the church stands for, but as you all know, I simply observe. I do not intend to interact directly, as it is not my place nor my purview. But she seemed quite concerned about it and mentioned, looking at the brothers, that the two of you might be tied to it as well. And kind young prince, I know you have been having a hard time with some beliefs you hold about whether the church is worth protecting or not, and it seemed a good time to have us all together for this. And a sense of uneasiness comes over the other four as, like, their secrets are so openly being talked about by someone that they did not tell them to. Whether they think that Frog is out here saying, "Hey everyone, here's everyone's problems," or whether Dion especially knows enough about how Amy works to be like, okay, I know you're just knowing things. You're unsure because none of them pipe up, other than just kind of like give glances to each other. But I believe Frogena was the one that wanted to make a deal about a way of maybe fixing this. If you would rather wait for her to come back, she's currently handing out some toys. Or if any of you would like to be the foreperson for discussion, I'm, of course, very excited and happy to hear what you all have to say.
Frog will walk back in the room at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe
And-
we'll let a Frog, just spearhead this conversation, since was her lovely idea to enter into a little bit of a bargain.
Frogena, welcome back.
Thanks. Frog will turn to Dion and be like, "So have you guys caught up with Miss Katonic? Do we know what's happening now?"
We know that you agreed to make a donation and that she's going to help you with something, but it seems rather odd. We make donations all the time, so for her to be directly aiding in the political matter of the country, something she's never done, is odd for a donation. But she has not told us much of your talk other than a simple conversation was had. Whether or not you choose to fill in what that conversation is, I will leave to you and the trust I have in you as a person and friend. But no, we're not entirely brought up.
Oh, okay. Well, I figured we should probably just hear from her on her information and what she has to say about Gemini and what's been going on with the church and everything. So, Miss Katonic, if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about your perspective and possible solutions.
Gladly. Have you told them what you all know about the Archfey, or are they all... Where do we all stand? Should I just go from the beginning?
Probably.
I'll try and be like, we should go from the beginning. And like during this conversation, Frog, are you just looking wildly uncomfortable like this whole time?
Probably, but she's trying not to. So like,
Can I do an
yes,
insight
Daniel.
check just to see if I'm noticing this?
Yeah.
Oh, and not Frog. Cass, you have the help action from Amy.
That's the advantage.
Oh, I have advantage.
Yeah.
Okay, 16.
Okay.
I'm rolling deception, right? Or is it?
Yep.
Okay. 17.
Okay. Yeah, you can tell is uncomfortable, but you can't see past the facade Frog is maintaining.
And I wasn't trying to probe past the facade. I was just more trying to get a feeling of how she is. And at that point, like, as I'm saying, just start from the beginning. I'll just put my hand on her shoulder and just sort of take a deep breath, look at her, nod, and be like, I got it, don't worry. And just sort of, I'll lead the conversation going forward for her.
Perfect. Frog will give you like a silent understanding and nod and like thank you gesture.
And then I'll look to Amy and just be like, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah, so the earliest conversations that we all had together were about who you've now identified as Gemini, this blood pair archfey. And Nori, I believe you were hoping to get more information from your queen or something. You wanted to talk with Titania and make sure nothing went wrong there. And as I said, the archfey are very hard for me to track, as they are often expansive in a way that conflicts with my own. But we had seen that while she couldn't bring herself back, there was some sort of sect of people believing in her once more, and how she made contact with them, we have no idea. But it appears that, based on what you all are saying now, if the Fey magic is now infiltrating the church, it would seem that a high-ranking official of the church must be believing in this entity or have made an agreement with her to bring her back through some sort of collective belief or arrangement of some kind. What that means for the two of you, I have no idea, as your magic, your situation, feels much older. And I would love to help you tether it if I knew how. We could always have talks because, well, quite simply, you're both a little too long for the world, and I'm quite fascinated by how that happened. But we could have some time to get to know each other if you want answers for that. And neither brother says anything, but like you just see like a chill go down their spine as they're like, I don't know if we want to trust another situation to look into things for us. But they don't seem to be outwardly reacting too much because like they know that you all trust, they know that you all are good, but they are like meh. And so but yeah, they are a little unsettled by this ask of hers. And then she continues on with, and while I don't myself get involved in any sort of governmental board or situation or state religion or anything of that note, I do have concerns of someone taking over just simply so that they can come back from a spot they're not meant to come back from. And Virginia very kindly made the offer to maybe help spread the influence of familial connections and kindness instead of whatever this is, in a way that might allow for, instead of that entity returning, maybe just we adjust it a little bit that more people can find the comfort they need at the end of their time.
And I think we all can agree that... You okay, Nori?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think we all can agree that what is happening in the church is outside of what most would agree is the natural order of how things should be happening. And I'll sort of look to Dion and just see, like, is like approving, or is he sort of neutral in this conversation still?
He approves very much, but then Amy starts laughing, like a gentle laugh of, oh, it's fun to think that there's a natural order of deification or belief. You all killed all the gods that were here before. so that you could believe in yourselves, and now you're killing the idea of believing in yourself so one person can believe in an archfey, and the idea of a natural order is something you're clinging to in a fun way, but there's nothing outside of it, for it itself does not exist. And then Dion does pipe up. Yeah, it's true that we used to be a land much more blessed by the deities, and that belief has changed and that they all have gone. That doesn't mean that to believe isn't natural, and finding something to do and something to honor and devote yourself to is very natural. It's just maybe we shouldn't have a structure where one person has enough of a sway to do enough of that. And then, like, you all feel collectively, like, nothing changes in the room, nothing, like, is projected, but feel just collectively, like, Dion's, like, his feeling of preaching that you need something to believe in, while actively knowing that he has had to shatter his own belief in the oath he once swore, and just, like, the cold that emanates off of him as an oath breaker versus the warmth he once gave when talking about the church is very different. And it's projected in this space because this is a space of doubt and a space of, like, truth and openness, and it might not be easy truths, but it is a space of truth. So as Dion is trying to, like, deceive himself a bit by saying what humans need, that feeling is kind of, like, spread to all of you.
Sort of hearing that, I'll just sort of shoot a questioning look at him, like sort of feeling the difference in, like, the conviction or sort of lack thereof that sort of came from it, and just continue with the conversation of, yeah, like everyone sort of said, it's like, I don't think anyone agrees that the Archfey coming back in any way, shape, or form, especially tied to the church, is a good thing. So I will gladly volunteer to help. I can't voice for everybody else, but I think this is the correct route.
Hearing a pretty audible sigh in the background from Nori, I'll say, yeah, I guess it's kind of... Nori stopping a moment to think of not a cuss word to say in front of the children. Screwed up that this is happening. So I agree with Cass, and I'll see what the Fae kind of say about it as well. Maybe. I don't know. It's okay. But, like, what exactly do you think we need to do? Do we need to, like... And I will gesture towards my neck, being like, cut for her to die? Do we need to just not have people believe in the church? What do you think, Miss Katonic, is the best mode of stopping Gemini?
Or is there even a best route at this point?
Good follow-up question, Cass, and Nori will pat him on his lower back, because that's where she reaches.
Well, of course, there's always a best option, but really any option would be good and beneficial. And I mean, we've talked about how it would be hard to kill her because she cannot die, for she does not exist, but also exists at the same time. But if you needed a simple flick of the knife solution, there is clearly one person towards the top of the church who is spreading this doctrine of belief, and if they weren't there, maybe it would go away. Maybe there are some zealots of within that could do the same, and maybe they would all need to be taken out together, or you could simply just appoint someone new to the head. If you wanted to remove the church entirely, that's an option you could all explore. However, I know many people in the country do rely on it for many reasons. But if you wanted to simply appoint someone with a different belief who can change the way that the current High Cleric and the past High Cleric have done, that works as well. Could also consider maybe not having one person be the official call and order of it and diversifying the head, but that is something you all could do. All I asked is that Fragena can aid in a way that would allow, if this entity is removed, perhaps a bit of my persuasion could be the next sort of embodiment, allowing for everyone to know that regardless of choice, as long as they accept who they are, there is a gentle and kind end waiting for them when it's their time.
And when she says pretty much that last part of accepts who they are, is there any inflection pointed at anyone specifically?
Kind of everyone and no one at the same time. She's not
Gotcha.
calling anyone out, but she knows the way she worded it.
Okay, and then I'm just going to shoot another glance. Does Dion react to that wording at all?
Let's see. Insight check yourself, please. Not yourself. Oh, don't even bother. He rolled a 3 and a 4, even with his benefit. Well, I guess you also have a minus to insight, so roll just to see how bad you do. But
16.
yeah, you beat him. Yeah, you see that like he's squirming uncomfortably in his skin. Outwardly, he's not showing it much, but you can see like that kind of thing, like when you're adjusting, just like you can't sit feeling like it's good, moving around a lot. Julian also picks up on it and kind of just puts an arm around him to try and like ground him a bit and hold him. Yeah, there's feelings.
Okay.
So I think actually Nori, pause for a second. Nori, make me a history check, please. Specifically you.
Well, I'm not very smart, but that's okay. 16.
On a 16, you would also remember the night that you spent with all of them. One of Julian's hopes was for people to see him as who he is, and that might be why he was so fast to comfort Dion.
Okay. So, all of this seems like a lot. Not saying you to ask, I just mean like a tall order. And I'll take it towards more like Julian and Dion, but primarily the questions aimed at Dion. How feasible is it to just have whatever her name taken off the pedestal, or whatever, the people taken off the pedestals that they're on, and appoint someone new to the head of the church, or like maybe make a council of members as compared to just having one head? How feasible is that?
Well, pause. Before we even dive into that, though, we don't know who the tie is.
Yes, we do.
Do we? We can make assumptions who we think it is, but I don't think we have a concrete direction of who it is.
Fairly certain that it's oh lord, Cassiopeia.
That's what I'm saying. It could be, but she's also just extremely powerful either way. So it's like, do we know that for sure?
Nope. You also know that Cassiopeia she's a noble that's not officially part of the church.
Yeah.
She works at the church and she owns the town, but she's not necessarily the church head.
We have our own beefs with her in general. I don't think she's an issue, and Cass will say that with some inflection, but she's not this issue per se.
What about James Whitmore?
And real quick, just for audience sake, who was James Whitmore again?
Didn't they conspire to kill the High Cleric?
You are under the assumption, yeah, from when you met with Jarl's Bellman. And they are currently the new High Cleric of the church.
That seems like a more plausible idea.
So, Julian, Dion, pause question. Going back to Miss Katonic, do you have any feelings about James Whitmore and about his intentions?
When you try and pause them, Dion's like, no, we're not gonna pause for a second. What did you do to upset Cassiopeia? Are you just making all of the nobles of the country hate you? Because last time you were here, you were out to kill Jarl's Bellman, and now you have a personal beef with another noble of the country. Yes, this is an important question. More importantly, what's this development?
As he says this, because realistically, this ties into Frog's whole backstory. Do the princes know, Frog, of
Yes.
this part of your backstory?
Yes.
They do know of it. Okay. Well, it's not so much it's not so much a beef with anything that we've done that I've known of, but obviously, as you know, Frog has reasons to not like her, which very validated, very understanding. Also, when we were in the church city, give me a second. When we were in Alara, I sort of joined the church as a recruit to get some information, and then had a quick conversation with her. And I left that conversation feeling like I was probed about information I knew quite a bit. So I'm not the most trusting of her either, and I don't think she trusts me. Nothing groundbreaking, just left me feeling uneasy more than anything. Made me feel like there was times where I answered something that I thought was the right answer and it ended up not being the right answer, I guess is the right way to word it.
Okay, so we're not going to have more of the nobility calling for your
No.
heads or anything.
I mean, if it's coming for a head, it would be mine. I don't think she knows her connection with Frog, thankfully. So if anyone would be the target, it would be me, and I will keep you two out of it.
Okay. And then Amy's like, and she is still veiled. I'm not sure why, but I still can't see that one. Anyway, to answer your other question, Nori, you wanted to know if it's easy to do what?
No, more of how do you feel about James Whitmore as the High Cleric of the church?
I mean, as I've stated before, I have very little care for one person either way in favor of or against, but if there's someone that's going to do change, people in the world have asked for balance, and change is different. And also, to answer the question that was asked prior, Dion, of course, could select a new head of the church, but the crown has always functioned independently from the church itself, and for the crown to try and make such assumptions and change would, of course, be an issue, and that's up to His Highness whether he chooses to do that, or whether he chooses to appoint a council, so it's less of a direct assault, but change can be done, but change cannot be done without conflict. Or losing the trust of the people, if you do it in the wrong way. And the brothers are just sitting here freaking out. Because not only is this woman way beyond what she should be able to be saying and knowing and doing, but she also appears to know everything about everyone, and now they're being brought up into a multi-level political church mission that they were sort of aware of, but not that aware of, and they were just asked to hang out in town yesterday. So, the brothers are lost. Deanna and Julian are sitting there uncomfortably addressing each other and trying to just, help through it, but no one's talking. You know that they're both aware that they don't need to talk for Amy to know what they're feeling. They have the same amount, if not more, experience with her as the three of you do. But yeah. So, I mean, if you were to make a change... Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with anything. I agree with what you said. I'm just trying to think of the best approach, because, again, ultimately, there needs to be more conversations, potentially behind closed doors, and I'll look to Dion specifically about the correct way to handle this. But I don't believe this is anything that's going to get solved in the next 2 days. Like, this is definitely more of a little bit of a long-term type. We need to figure out what's going on here. But you said something interesting, Amy, that I wanted to see if you could clarify on. You said that Cassiopeia is veiled. So when you say that, what... And again, I apologize. I don't know how your ability/vision works. But when you say someone's veiled, do you know what could cause that specifically?
A lot of things, if they're skilled enough at preventing divination. But she was veiled the first time you asked of her, and she remains veiled now.
And of all of the nobles and higher-ups in the area, how many would you say are veiled, aside from her?
None. Just her.
Okay. So, regardless, for us to fulfill what you want of us as a group, we need to prevent this integration of Gemini into the church and sort of break down that connection, which would then decrease her influence over the area. Yeah?
That would be a good spot to start, and if along the way you wanted to tell people of the charity we do here and invite them to come learn for themselves or just instill a national belief in generosity and warmth at the end, it wouldn't be bad to have more people join the family.
Well, this has been a lovely time. Thank you for the tea, but I think we need to go and prepare for a wedding. So, have a great one, Miss Katonic. Thank you. And I'm going to try and like shovel people out the door, noticing all of the different emotions.
I like weddings. Can I come?
This is a private ceremony only for us. So, we're going to go. Bye. And I'm going to like literally shuffle people out the door.
Cool. You're shuffling people out the door. On the way out, Frog, she stops you. If you do intend to aid, I can give you a bit of a boon to do so. Whether or not you want it or feel you need it is entirely up to you, but if you were to be the one to spread some thought, there's a lot that can be spread through a song more than it can be spread through a word. You wanted to work together to casually disrupt the lives of those who naturally wouldn't be disrupted. I feel it's fair. But feel free to think on it. You can reach me whenever you need.
Okay. Frog is gonna just kind of look at her and be like, give her like a nod of the head and be like, we'll see you soon. And walk away.
As we're leaving, I'll be the last to leave since I'm not gonna let Nori like rush me out the door in a weird fashion. And I'll look back to her. I'm assuming she's still gonna stand in the same spot she was the whole time, and I'll think to, in my head, just thank you again for everything, knowing that she's going to hear it, and then shut the door politely, not rushing out.
And then a few days pass, and we go to wherever Nori's planning on hosting the unofficial wedding of the soon-to-be princes of a country. So, Nori,
Okay.
what are we doing?
We're going to have the wedding in the evening on Saturday.
Okay.
And it will be on the southwest side of town, or in the outskirts of town. So you can kind of see like the Druid Grove maybe in the background, or like the trees, just like landscape. We don't necessarily need to have that. And we will have some beautiful purple and blue wildflowers in the background. And I'll use Druidcraft to do that. And I will have asked Cass beforehand to... No, I won't. Does Minor image or any type of ability you have allow for sense?
Yes. I can cast. Just tell me what you want to do.
Just have an aroma of of their favorite meals, maybe at the tavern.
Why don't we do
That's
like
the
an aroma?
wedding background?
Yeah, why don't we do like an aroma of like a sweet treat they like, something like pleasant, not like a fried fish batter.
Okay,
type
that's fair.
thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do that.
So I'll just have like an aroma of like a very strong like caramel scent, sort of just like wafting through the region.
And then in front where Julian and Dion will be, they'll have a little square or I guess rectangular archway that has some pretty greenery on the sides of it with some of the purple and blue wildflowers intermingled into part of it. And then a couple of chairs for whoever they invited, having like the same thing. And there will be candles that are different shapes and sizes along the aisle for them to walk up.
Nice.
And as they approach to walk up, like all the candles will be unlit, and I'll use a second casting of prestidigitation that as they walk down, they all just light in like a row, sort of going to the front of where they're going.
And in the meantime, Frog and I also chatted beforehand, and Frog will be playing an acoustic version of Julian's first known songs within the kingdom, so to speak. So the ones that probably Dion would have heard when Julian like was just really performing for himself, not for the crowd. And that is the
scene as we get started.
Thank you.
Yes. Frog, anything you want to add to the scene other than the music you're doing in the background?
Nope, that's perfect.
Okay. Then yeah, it goes. And Nori, I imagine you're standing under the archway as the one that has to officially ordain this?
Oh, we have a whole script. We're going through it. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you keep going. Going.
Oh, we're going through it. Okay. So, once Dion and Julian have come up to the front on the altar, I guess not the altar, just in front of everyone, or just the couple of us, I will start by saying, this evening, we gather to celebrate a love that has grown not in the spotlight of fame or the grandeur of titles, but in the quiet moments that truly matter. Julian, known far and wide for songs that stir hearts and inspire courage, and Dion, whose strength and kindness are the very foundation of this kingdom. Together, you have created a bond that is unshakable, a harmony of warmth, joy, and shared purpose. This is not a moment of ceremony alone, but of devotion. You stand here not as two individuals, but as two souls who have chosen to walk this path together, hand in hand, for all the days to come. Now, in my conversations with both of you, you would like to exchange your own vows. Would you like to go first, Julian?
Yeah, I can go first. And then he'll like take Dion's hand, which I'm sure he's already been holding, but like now holds it like firmly. D, since the day we met each other, neither of us have cared who the other were. I was just a nobody. You were a prince that I did not know. We just had fun and got to know each other. And we've never lost the fun, and we've never lost who we are. And from every moment I wake up to every moment I go to bed and every moment I spent dreaming, I am just happier and more kind and caring, and know that nothing will ever break what we have, when we can spend any second together, regardless of who people see me as or who I have been in the past, I know you see me, and that's all I could ever ask, and that's all I need. And you have the backing of an entire country, but I know that all you need is mine, and you have it every day, regardless of if it's a good day or a bad day, a day that we get to help people or a day that random people are telling you that everything you believe in is a lie. We've been through it all, and we're stronger for it, and we're going to be together through everything going forward. And no matter what happens, you're mine, and I love you.
Beautiful. Dion, would you like to give Julian your vows?
Yeah, I feel like that is the natural progression. Julian, you're just everything I need. There is no one that I trust more. There is no one that I care about more. There is no one that I love more than you. There's nobody who knows me like you do, and there's nobody that I want to know me the way that you do. You are one of the most creative and special, and just you are far more than anyone should ever feel the need to ask for, and yet you are exactly what everyone should have in their life. And I am blessed that I get to have you, and that no matter what happens, I know with every passing sun and every fading life, hours together are bound. With every day that we are together, everything grows, and whether or not you've come from a noble background that the people will uphold when you and I are in charge together, it is going to be a relationship built on understanding and respect and kindness and love and compassion. And that's what we're going to need to shape the world. But it's also what we've always had for each other. And it's something we'll never lose. And I vow to be here for you every day. I vow to do what you need. And my oath is not to anyone anymore, except you. So anything you ask of me, I am your knight. And I am here for you. And I always will be.
And as Dion is finishing his vows, you'll just see like a little tear come from Nori's eye. And she'll quickly wipe it away and say, "So, Dion, Julian, your story is a testament to the beauty of an unlikely beginning and the power of love to grow in the most unexpected places. It all began in a humble tavern where amidst the chatter of strangers, your eyes found each other. From that night forward, your fates began to weave together thread by thread. Julian, I know that your favorite memory of Dion is the day you spent helping individuals out in the community. You saw him then not as a prince, but as a man whose joy and kindness radiated as he cared for others. That moment showed you the depth of his heart, a heart you have cherished ever since. And Dion, your love for Julian is rooted not just in his fame or in his talent, but in the calm and steady presence he brings to every room. You have always admired how he can make anyone feel at ease, how his songs bring people together. Yet, your most treasured memory of him is from when no one in the world knew his name, not quite yet. But those early performances, raw and unpolished, where his passion for storytelling shined brighter than any stage light. In each other, you have found a partner who sees not just who you are, but who you strive to be. You bring out the best in each other, and it is a bond that we celebrate today. Frog, do you have earrings?
Yes, Frog will mage hand the ring for Julian over to Dion.
Wait, whose ring is going first? Sorry.
Julian's ring for Dion.
Julian's ring. Okay. Julian, as you place this ring on Dion's hand.
No.
Oh. Dion, as you place this ring on Julian's hand, please repeat after me. with this ring, there's no repeating. Okay.
I thought you were going to say more words at once. I didn't realize we're doing a short term here. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, it's from the beginning. It's okay. With this ring.
With this ring.
I bind my heart to yours.
I bind my heart to yours.
Through every story we write together.
Through every story we write together.
All right. And Julian, as you place this ring on Dion's finger, repeat after me. With this ring.
With this ring.
I bind my heart to yours.
I bind my heart to yours.
Through every story we write together.
Through every story we write together.
Beautiful. And by the power blessed in me through my own belief in the world and not through this church, I now pronounce you husbands and partners in life. You may now seal your vow with a kiss.
And you see them like pull each other in real tight and give each other a nice kiss. And as they do, the magic of your, like, especially it being the time of day, your twilight magic, like, kind of circles around them, putting, like, just the protective seal of their wedding on the two of them. And they are under the effect of the wedding portion of the ceremony spell. But you also see something new go in there, as Dion had pledged himself no longer to anything but Julian. His own aura starts to shift as a new sort of oath and a new sort of magic moves through him in their unity, and he seems to be back to himself, but not with any sort of pledge to anyone else, but devoting himself and his oath to keeping his husband safe. And you see that now just a weight is literally taken off of their shoulders as they are officially the crown princes of the kingdom together.
And now we go have an after party at the Spoke Easy Tavern. I don't know, wherever they met.
From the side, Cass is just like, yes, the Spoke Easy Tavern. Let's all go. And with that, as they leave, like the processional out, the candles will just sort of unlight themselves just to make sure nothing catches fire after we leave in this blank field. And we'll make our way.
Yeah, and you make your way there. A grand party, I imagine, is planned. What's the reception like, friends?
Since I did all the ceremony, I chatted with Cass, and Cass was the one that planned the tavern party. I just let him know that Julian suggested doing it at a tavern, so Cass is going to be the one that spearheads that idea.
Cool.
I think Dion was the one that said it'd be nice to incorporate it in some way, but you do you, Nori.
Yes, it was definitely Dion's plan. So prior to the wedding, like a few days ahead of time, Cass would have went to one of the first taverns that Julian performed, rented out the whole area for whatever gold would be needed. Again, it's not a super popular area, so it's not crazy. I would have talked with Dion ahead of time to have some better class of wine put in stock at the place, so they're drinking things that they would enjoy drinking. And in addition, per our conversations, there would be a good amount of desserts that include both of the flavors that they like, such as caramel and dark chocolate, as well as just some general food. Again, this would be more on my side, just planning, getting it laid out. But the area would be relatively sparse. From their description, they don't want this to be a big thing. So it really would just be the staff and us. And the one key thing that I would have included after talking with Prague over a short period of time would be that a stage is set up with an area for Julian to perform, sort of mirroring this small, intimate crowd that Dion did say that he enjoyed seeing him perform for when they first met.
Yeah, I mean, I got the stage set up. It's nice and decorated with the blue and purple, and then Frog will play some nice background music for the group. It's kind of similar to the wedding,
Nice.
but including like all of Julian's like
Mhm.
greatest hits, so to speak.
Yeah. And then, towards the end, Julian does go up by himself and just start playing songs for the small crowd before you all head back to the chateau. They stay behind a bit, kind of kicking you guys out, being like, hey, it's our party, get out, and taking some time for them before also coming back. And in a couple days, you meet them at a circle to magically bring yourselves up to Paternelle, because you know there's some stuff that has to be done up there. They need to be paraded around. They need to attend a lot of like balls and feasts and pre-wedding festivals. So they have to be out there for them, and it's just easier for them to bring you all with. And we wrap up as the 7 of you are all teleported to the opening of the Grand Palace in Paternelle. And that's where we will pick up next time. Thank you everyone for playing. Thank you everyone for listening. We hope you are enjoying our nice little storyline. You can find us on all of our socials. They're in the links below. But yeah, thank you so much. We love having you. If you want to contact us, please do. Emailing in at helpactionneeded@gmail.com is the best way to get in contact with us, and we would love to know your thoughts on things. Also, again, thank you to everyone that does, because we love when we get to hear from you. It's so fun. But yeah, thank you audience for listening. Thank you players for playing, and as always, goodbye!